Good morning and welcome to another broadcast of uh, Thriving Tuesday Moments of Encouragement, hashtag veeencouraged. We've got a really exciting show today. I'm glad to see so many of you here already. Why don't you send me some comments so I can speak to you this morning? One thing with this new setup, I can't do any tagging, so I'm asking you all to do some sharing because I can't tag. I want to make sure that people are getting in. I tried to start doing that on Facebook, but while I was here, but it just really wasn't working for me. But I'm going to try again. We'll see what happens. Good morning, Miss Jackson. I see you. All right. Let me see who I can. Doing that on Facebook, but I didn't want to hear it. Let's just keep going. Let me see if I can, because we can no longer do watch parties. We just have to tag from where we are. And so I'm asking you to share till I figure this out. Good morning, Shanetta. Good morning, my joy. Good morning, my sister. Good morning. Good morning, Miss Jackson. I am praying today. You know why. I pray all goes well. And I'm glad that you are well. Amen. All right. Today, we're going to talk about what it means to embrace next. There's that old saying that when one thing closes, it's like, well, what's next? Well, I'm encouraging us today to embrace next, even before next shows up. Embrace that next is coming. Good morning, Tina. Good morning, Bilal. Embrace next. Embrace next even before it gets here. Because there's some things that take expectation. We talk about expectation quite often, expecting the best to come your way. And when you expect it, then you already get rid of the if, and you find yourself in a when situation, like when is it coming, as opposed to if it's going to come. Good morning, Miss Mayetta. And so today we want to talk about what it means to embrace next. Now I'm going to go to the scripture because, when it's not just one verse, I don't always commit it completely to memory, but I want to make sure that we don't miss it. So it's Proverbs 4:25-27. And it says, let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Give careful thought to the paths for your feet, and be steadfast in all your ways. Do not turn to the right or to the left. Keep your foot from evil. When I was growing up, my grandmother used to say to me all the time, don't look to the right or to the left, look straight ahead and see Jesus. And I didn't understand it growing up, but I understand that so well now, that so much of what we get caught up in is like Peter. We start looking at the atmosphere and we lose our footing, and we forget that with Jesus, we can do amazing, miraculous things. And so we don't always embrace our next. We sometimes look around us and decide how we can be with the rest of the fray around us, with the rest of the people who are at a particular level. And we just kind of want to hang out in that level when many times God has called us for greater. And so because we don't always see that, we sometimes get caught up in our atmosphere, in our circumstances. But I came today to encourage you to embrace your next, to see what's coming ahead of you, to don't get stuck on what you've already know. Don't get in that place of comfort and safety, because sometimes that place is real comfortable for a minute, but then it becomes stagnation and you get stuck there. And you've not been called to be stuck. You've been called to move forward. You've been called to embrace next. Now, what do I really mean by embrace next? There's some of us who have been doing the same thing over and over again for the last however many years. Even in pandemic, we didn't make any shifts. We got as comfortable as we could be to handle the circumstances we were dealing with, and we didn't press any harder than that. Well, it's been a year. And if you've gone a year and not made any moves, you're not moving and shaking and doing anything that is going to help you to fulfill your destiny. Good morning, Miss Cross. Good morning, Peggy Robinson. To fulfill your destiny, then you've put yourself in a holding pattern. And when you put yourself in a holding pattern, my mom used to call it staying in suspended animation, where you're here, but you're not moving, you're not doing, you're just here. And God didn't call us to be here. God called us to go from glory to glory to glory, to move from one place to the other, not just in our faith walk. And I think sometimes we get stuck there, not just in our faith walk, but in our life walk. Our destiny, that there's a destiny that is yours. There's a providence that's your life. And sometimes, because we don't want to fight what it takes to get there, we don't want to struggle with what it might mean to make another mistake or to do something else that we thought we were going to do better than we did it. We fail to live it all the way out. So my encouragement to us is to embrace next, whatever next is, and trust that the same God that got you through the last, even though you weren't sure about it, will get you through this one. And so you'll be able to move to the next level and the next level and the next level as you become the fulfillment of what God has placed in you. Maslow's hierarchy of needs says that ultimately we have these levels we go to, and then ultimately we get to self-actualization. And self-actualization is that place where you know that you are living your life in what it's been purposed to be. Not that you're in a holding pattern, not that you're waiting on something to come, or in the meantime space, liminal space where you have not really embraced next. I came to encourage you today to embrace next. Next is not always a very comfortable place. Sometimes next is uneasy. Sometimes you don't know, even though you may see next, you don't know how next is going to come about. But that takes that faith that we claim. You've got to hold on to the faith that says that whatever God has for my life, that God is creating my means by which for me to get to next. And so today I'm excited because God has opened some doors that I didn't know how they were going to happen. But God said, you just keep doing what you need to do, and I'll start opening the doors. You got friends, you got people who are able to help you in ways you don't even know. And sometimes when we are kind of feel like we're self-sufficient, and I know that's an issue that I have, and I'm working on it. And there are many of us the same way, where we feel like we don't want to ask people to do things, because asking means one of two things: either that you have to look vulnerable, or secondly, that if they say no, then you've got to deal with the rejection. So you just do it yourself. Well, God is teaching me that there are people who have gifts and skills, and they are willing to share those gifts and skills, and not gouge you, not take you to a point where you don't know how you're going to financially handle it. But God will open those doors, give them a heart for you and your project and what it is that you want to do, and then you can move forward. So that's why I'm saying to you, embrace the next, and watch God move, and watch God move in your life. Embrace your next, and it doesn't matter what age you are. I'm looking at you, Sister Jackson, and and even though you're not at her age, I'm looking at you, Sister Peggy Robinson, saying, and Sister Alina Cross saying, embracing next, because as long as we're here, there's got to be a next in our spirit. There's got to be what do you want me to do that's at the next level, God? And so when we get to the point where we can allow God to order our steps in our next, then God will open the door for next to happen. I am asking someone to share with us on today. I'm not sure that they're going to make it. I'm looking at my text to see. Okay. And so I'm hoping they get here in just a couple of minutes. So I'm gonna talk about this a little more, a little more in depth, and hopefully they will be able to be here before we finish. So, one of the things that Embracing Next will teach us is that there are steps that we have to take. There's a process. There's progression. We have to take it one step at a time. That's right. Hey, Reverend Patricia. Take it one step at a time, because yes, there is a next. And we have to say, I will step forward. I like that. I will step forward into my next. Not me, but I will follow God's lead and step forward into my next. Because if I'm here, if you survive this pandemic and now you got both your shots and you're excited and you got some more hope on your lease on life, let me tell you something. If God left you here, God left you here for purpose. Purpose. What's your next? What is your next? Ask yourself, ask God, what is my next? What is my next project? What is my next move? What is my next fulfillment of what I have always wanted to do? What is my next dream? What is my next fulfillment of the vision that you already gave me? How can I pull that off the shelf and really embrace what's next for me? Well, I come from a family of people who are gifted in a lot of different things. And some of those gifts I've embraced, and some of those gifts I've kind of moved around because I knew what kind of commitment they took. Well, I don't talk much about my father, and I maybe should a little more, but my father was not with me. In my formative years, we finally began to cultivate a relationship about 2 years before he passed away. And in that 2 years, he tried to make up for all of that lost time. And that was sometimes not a good thing. But what I did find out, and what I've been blessed with from the likes of Dr. Jerome McNeil and the late Dr. Jerome McNeil and the late Bishop Ed Lockett, they found and had writings of my father's that they shared with me so that I would understand the gift that I inherited. I am not always, I thank God for the speaker side, which I'm sure I got from him. My mother was a teacher. My grandfather, his father were all pastors. So I got that from them. But what I learned is that writing is a gift and a skill that I inherited. And so with that, I am learning to now really embrace the writer in me. And that brings me, that's a good question, Miss Jackson, before I make this announcement. How will you recognize the next? Sometimes we just have to be still and watch the opportunities come. Sometimes we don't have to press it. We got to sit, remember, reflect on what it is that we wanted to do before we did all those things we had to do. I know that you were married for a very long time. You had children, you raised children, and you're raising grandchildren and great-grandchildren and helping to raise great-grandchildren. But there's something that is just Mildred's. And so you need to ask God what that is. And when God tells you what that is, God will start to open the door for your next to be brought to fruition, for it to manifest in your life. And you are always a role model for me, ma'am. Those of you who don't know Mildred Jackson is a octogenarian who has no problem navigating Facebook and Instagram and all of those places. And so I am always excited by the fact that she's always really looking for next, and whatever next thing that she can learn and do and be a part of. So you're already in that space, Miss Jackson. Just stay where you are and keep looking for God to tell you what's next. All right. Got a couple of announcements. One of them is mine, but the other one is a joint announcement. So I'm going to bring my guest up, and then we're going to talk about what our next was, and now has opened doors for us to keep doing some next. All right. Good morning, Dr. Williams.
Well, good morning. Good morning, Reverend Edna.
Hi,
How are
how
you?
are you? Good.
Oh, I am okay. Glad to
I
be on
know.
with
I
you.
thank you
How
for
are you?
rushing. I thank you for rushing to be with us this morning. Um,
Oh, keyword is Russian. I just hope the camera stays up and
yeah,
don't
you're,
get any
you're
lower
good.
than
You're good. As long as you don't move, you'll be fine. Amen. Thank you for being with us today. And we have a something we want to share with you, and we're not going to get the whole thing in. I know it's not going to come all the way into fruition on the screen because the beautiful flyer is too big. But I'm going to put it up and then get us out of here for a moment so they can see it. All right. So we did it.
we did it. Yes,
We
we
did
did.
it. We did it before we got to Pentecost again. But the blessing for us is what? It's still viable. There's still all of these things are still going on. And with the insurrection, it escalated it to a whole nother level. And so as all of those things that we talked about, as the Asian issue happens, and we find that there are still all of these racial tensions that have not been addressed, and Black lives still don't matter, and all of those things that we address in the sermons are still viable today. And so just I want to hear what you have to say. Will you share with the audience your thoughts and ask them to purchase and all of those things?
Well, first, let me just begin by saying thank you for having me on your show once again. And then also thank you because actually the idea for our sermon series on Little Fires Everywhere, it was inspired by a conversation that you and I were having. And it was your idea, and I just kind of jumped on it. It's amazing how sometimes we expect God to do something for us individually, but a lot of times God can do things for us through the persons with whom we're connected and the persons we surround ourselves with. And so you and I had a conversation, and then it turned into weekly conversations about, what are we preaching this week? And, how much of the book did you read? And did you see the show? And we were going back and forth and back and
Yes.
forth and back and forth. And it's amazing how, although you're down in Houston, I'm up in Dallas, God was working through us. And you're right. We did the preaching and we did the analysis, but now a whole year later, the things we talked about are still relevant. The fires are still burning.
Fires are still burning.
The protests are still going on. The political theater is still going on. The police brutality still going on. Attacks against minorities in this country, African American, Asian American, Latino American, it's still happening in this country. And so we were worried that we had missed a sort of window of relevancy
Yeah.
because it's almost a year later. But I think that the messages are even more relevant today than they were a year ago. And so to all of those, you've seen the announcement. This is the first book venture for Reverend Edna and for myself. And so we pray that you all will support it. It will bless you and help you and help us, help all of us to understand what is God saying to us in the midst of these fires of pandemic and protest and politics and about power. And so it's available on Amazon right now. You can, if you go to the veeencouraged Facebook page or Dr. Van C. Williams' Facebook page. There's the link that'll help you get right there. You can get there and get your copy today. You can get it on Kindle for $4.99, or you can get the paperback for $10.95. We kept the cost low because we really want to be a blessing to all of you. So please help bless us as we bless you, and get your copy of Little Fires Everywhere. Get it today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Williams. We're going to do a forum at some point where we talk about the content of the book and how relevant it is still for right now. As we get closer to Pentecost again, we will begin to talk about the book more, as we want to do some forums where people can be a part of it and ask us some questions and really engage each other. And we hope to have some other opportunities to talk about the book. Thank you for being here today, Brian Magwood. We know that you are supporting us, and so we're grateful for that. Listen, I'm going to let you go because I got one more announcement, and then I'm going to do it. And then we'll go forth from there. And you're gonna be mad because I got here first. But anyway, we're gonna we'll talk about
it's all right. Thank you. Okay. Thank you once again for having me.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Peace.
Dr. Thank you so much. God bless you. All right. Last Embracing Next announcement is coming up. All right, I'm gonna take myself out so that I can pull it up. All right. So on veeencouraged.com, we finally got there. Yay. Thank you to Lakeisha Jones for her assistance in making sure that happened. But on veeencouraged.com, you can order the book there. It will not be as quick as Amazon Prime because I will be sending it to you. However, it will cost you 95 cents less for the book. Now you got to, shipping, yes, but you will be blessing us a little greater if you buy the book from us directly. So I want you to know that it is available. Please go to veeencouraged.com. Please look at it. Send me a message on there. I will receive it. Please know that we are Be Encouraged on Facebook, Be Encouraged on Instagram, Be Encouraged on now on YouTube, and now veeencouraged.com. So I'm excited about embracing next. And I am praying that you will pray with me and for me as we do this, in addition to everything else we will be doing. We are still committed to pastoring God's people, still committed to the assignment and the appointment that God has given through the bishop of the CME Church. But in the midst of that, I am embracing the next. Start D-Men in May, embracing next. For I trust that whatever doors God opens, God's going to give strength and energy to walk through each of those doors and to be exactly what God expects of me, to excel at all of it. So I thank you for sharing with me each week. Thank you so much for your support. Please share this for more than one reason, obviously, of course, but please share it. Remember, embracing next matters. Do not stand still. Do not think the journey is over. Keep embracing next and be encouraged. Marcus, congratulations to you. Listen, I'm going to put the Gratefulness Journey book up on my pages, and I want you to look and to order it as well. Marcus Holmes has been my little brother, since he was quite young. And for those of you who know all the things I've done on Love and Stuff, he's the facilitator of Love and Stuff community. And he has a book called The Gratefulness Journey Every Day. And so we want to continue to embrace those people who are embracing next, and then go forth. Thank you so much. God bless you for all of your kindnesses to me. Please go to the webpage. Please, it's going to keep getting better and better. But right now, just go to it. Let me know you went there so that I'll know that I'm embracing next. You embrace next and be encouraged. See you soon.